You recording it? Welcome back, everyone, to Wedding Week. Today's day 4, and we're going to be talking about getting the most out of your family, friends, and wedding party. I'm going to turn it over to Faye. Take it away.
All right, thank you, Christina. By now we're on day 4, so you know Christina is the wedding mom. She's the guru of all things and our Q&A person. She leads our weekly group wedding planning call. So bring your questions, bring your concerns, and she will guide you through it with lots of love, but also honesty about what you need for your wedding day. We're both laughing, but yes. So. About wedding details, it's day 4, so I'm gonna be super brief. We are the wedding planner for the modern couple, right? You know how to use a computer. You may not mind reaching out to vendors. You just need guidance and you need things streamlined so you're not going back and forth with everybody, right? You send one email and you get back what you need. We are here to help you get that, right? And with that, we will help you, we will plan your wedding for 50% or more of a discount of what you would get if you hired someone else to plan your wedding, right? From start to finish. And we're really proud of that, excited about that. And the best part is that you're getting a super experienced team, right? A team of planners with 10 to 15 years of experience is not that easy to come by. And not only that, we're also giving it to you for a fraction of the price. So we are here to make wedding planning more accessible for everyone. And we're excited that you guys are here for the journey. So, wedding week, we're here on day 4. Our goal is to help you to get more done in 5 days than you have in the past 2 months. And that is simply through one thing: clarity. Clarity about what you need to look for at every stage of the process. And we're breaking down major points, but this clarity should help you cut through the noise, know exactly what you're looking for, what you need, what you don't need, and to help you to make progress every single day as you go through wedding week. So, we're excited about that. So, the day 4 mantra is I don't want to start my wedding without the people that I love. So I'll make sure that they're there. I'm gonna let that sit, right? Because a lot of times we worry about the flowers, we worry about the colors, we worry about the food, we worry about everything. And you can find yourself on your wedding day at the venue and your parents are not there. Siblings are not there. Even your wedding party may not be there. Or they may be like on the grounds, but like some people left to go to Burger King because they were hungry and they just thought that was the right time to deal with their hunger, right? Like these things happen way more often than you might think. Or you're taking pictures and key people that you wanted in your pictures were not there because they didn't know they were supposed to be there. Maybe, and a lot of times they were trying to help you with something. They were like, "Oh yeah, you need it. Let me go help you," right? And so they missed a picture or whatever. So this is where communication, say it with me, even if you're watching the read, communication comes in, right? It's like if you've been in marriage counseling, of course, they talk a lot about communication. I have some bad news. You got to communicate with more than just your spouse. You got to communicate with your family. You got to communicate with your friends. You got to communicate with your wife. You got to communicate with everybody if you want this thing to go off without a hitch and if you want it to be smooth. But the good news is that we're going to help you with everything. With wedded details, we help you. We give you email scripts for your parents, your wedding party, your parents' or wedding party, and your vendors. So we help you with that communication to really streamline it and detail what everybody needs to keep in mind. You don't have to think about, do they need to know this or not? We will just give it to you, right? So if you haven't already booked wedding details, today's a good day to just lock that in. All right. So why wedding party communication matters? As every single day I have a story. But man, I have many stories about this one. But I'll say, which story do I pick from today? It's a very deep archive when it comes to family and friends. But I will pick a story of a time when a bridesmaid missed all of the pre-wedding photos, including a photo that went super viral. It was reposted by like every hot Instagram page was reposting it. Like this was back when like wedding blogs used to, I mean they still do, but like a post could go viral and like 7 different blogs would repost it. There was a bridesmaid that missed the picture of the wedding that went viral. And this was why. She was on time for hair and makeup. She was slightly bossy, if I may say so, telling everybody else what they needed to do. But long story short, when it was time to get dressed, her dress did not fit. And honestly, by her reaction, because she tried to take somebody else's dress, she tried to switch with someone else before we found out it didn't fit, I could tell that she knew that dress didn't fit. She didn't just realize it that morning. She didn't just gain weight overnight. She knew. And she just thought we would just all figure it out. And then she came to the wedding planning team, who she was originally not listening to because she wanted to be the boss to fix the problem, which wedding planners are not seamstresses. And I mean, the good news is that the getting ready area was not far from a Nordstrom. So we were like, you have to go to Nordstrom and like let them fix it. And she's like, well, how am I going to get to the church? And it's like, you're gonna have to take an Uber, you know? And so thankfully she did make it in time for the ceremony, but she missed every single wedding party picture that took place before the wedding. Every single one. I know some of you are probably like, oh my gosh, that sounds crazy. But the alternative was for everybody to try to sew her dress for her. Like, I mean, none of us have the skills, right? That's not what we're here for. And as silly as it may sound, we've learned over the years that people need to be told to make sure that their outfits fit ahead of time because the scenario I just told you happened more than once. By the second time it happened, I realized this needs to go in our template of emails to wedding party members because I don't ever want to see this problem again of a dress that doesn't fit, right? And there have been countless times that people have said to us, like, man, like, thanks for letting me know that I tried my dress on one more time and I realized it actually doesn't fit. And I'm going to the tailor now. Like, I don't know what I would do if I found this out on the morning of the wedding. Yes, communication matters. Now, that is one of many things that we communicate to wedding parties to make sure that there's no hiccups on the wedding day, to make sure everybody understands what needs to be done, right? And like I said, I have a long list of stories. I do. I have stories about parents coming late. I got parents. It's just it's a long list of stories. But in the same way, we've been talking for day one, two, and three about communicating clearly to your vendors to make sure that they show up well. We are t those vendors, like many of those vendors do weddings every week or every other week, and they've been doing it for years. And even with all that experience, they need clear communication and expectation setting in order to show up well for your wedding. They do, right? Imagine somebody who is just in your wedding. It could be their first time ever being in a wedding. It could be maybe they're just in a wedding once a year, but this isn't like their thing that they've memorized the whole process. You have to communicate. It's so important in order to get people on board and to understand. There are so many times that people get frustrated with their family, their friends, break up with people, stop talking to people after the wedding over things that they did not communicate because you feel like they should have known. Unfortunately, people didn't know. They didn't know, right? Maybe the bridesmaid didn't know that she shouldn't sign up to go pick up grandma from the airport on the same day that she's also being your bridesmaid. And because of that, she threw off the schedule because she was at the airport when she was supposed to be in the makeup chair. Like, there's just so many things like that where maybe they're even trying to help you, but the way that they're trying to help you does not work. This is where clear, concise, very clear, detailed communication is important. And I'm gonna be honest with you, you can't do it just with quick text messages or a quick phone call. It needs to be documented. It needs to be in a place that people can reference easily, which is why, like I said, we draft email scripts for your wedding party. If you're like, oh, people I know don't read emails, that's not true. They read emails when it comes to bills and other important things. They will, but you can also text them a Google Doc. We provide both for you. You pick which one you want to do, but let them know what they need to know. All right. So here are some ways, that said, here are some ways that friends and family can be involved, right? Because a lot of times people are like, well, I got people in my family, they want to be involved. And if I don't want to hire a wedding planner because people want to be involved. Let me tell you, these are ways that people can be involved without ruining your wedding. All right. Number one, before the wedding day, they can assemble invitations. By the way, this is something anyone can do. Your mom can help you, wet bridesmaid, dad, whoever wants to help can help you ahead of time, assembling invitations, assembling favors. Especially like if you have like complex favors, like you know, a lot of times when you order favor boxes online, they're not assembled. So the box has to be assembled, and then you got to put the thing in the box. Like it takes time, and then you want to tie the ribbon a certain way. It takes time. So assembling favors, creating your wedding website, that's something you could just give to one person and let them just be in charge of creating your wedding website, creating your save the date, or maybe even creating your invitations if the person's crafty, right? These are ways that people can be involved. Now, the cool thing about being involved before the wedding day is that that's something that you can ask almost anyone, right? Because there are certain things you cannot ask anyone to do on your wedding day, and we're about to get to that in point two. But the before the wedding day, things that are completely done and dusted, I would say by like a week before your wedding, anyone can help with. Now, things that happen on the day of your wedding party and your parents should not be assigned anything. They should not be doing nothing. Not picking up anyone from the airport, not delivering food, nothing. Not dropping off stuff at the venue, nothing. The only thing they are responsible for doing is waking up, getting clean, answering the phone, and showing up to the wedding on time. Maybe hair and makeup if they're assigned. That is it. Nothing else. Okay? So on the day of the wedding, friends who are not wedding party members or parents can do this, right? So, deliveries. In a lot of cases, if you go with a venue that allows outside food and beverage and stuff like that, you can bring your own liquor, and it saves a lot of money, by the way. You can bring your own liquor and drop it off for the caterer or the bartender to serve. Who should be dropping off that stuff? Someone who's not in the wedding party or your parents. And you want to know why? Because the timing is not going to make sense. The timing of when the venue opens is more than likely going to be the same time that you're supposed to be taking prep photos or doing makeup or something like that, right? So that's great stuff that a friend who's like, oh, hey, I'm here for you. I just want to support you. Just let me know. Let that friend who is actually a reliable person, not that person who flakes at the last minute, an actual reliable person, give them that job. Picking people up from the airport who arrive that day and are like, I don't want to take an Uber. I don't want to take a cab, whatever. That's great, right? Ushering guests at the ceremony. Now, this is like, you don't have to have ushers. If you're like, ooh, ushers, I didn't even think about that. You don't have to have ushers. People can see themselves for the most part. And as long as you hire a day of coordination team, your day of coordinator will probably help with like letting people know where to sit. However, if people really want to help that day, ushering is great because it's a 30-minute job. It's quick, and when they're done, they can just go and enjoy the wedding. So letting people usher is great. And honestly, even if you do have a day of coordination team, you can still have ushers. And then if they flake, the day of coordination team can fill in, right? But that's a great way for people to help. Um, also asking people who, if you, because I keep saying, don't ask people who are flaky to do these things. The things, if you're like, you have that person who's really flaky but keeps asking you, how can I help? Ushering is one of them, as long as you like ask, if you need two ushers is plenty. Ask four people, including the flaky people, and like assembling invitations. Again, ask more people than you need. Assembling favors, ask more people than you need. And if that flaky person doesn't show up, fine, you're still good, right? And you don't have any animosity in your heart towards them because you still got what you needed done. And if they do show up, then they get a chance to help, right? Um, Now, if anyone is doing any of the below things, treat them as a vendor. If they are catering, if they're cooking food for your wedding, treat them as a vendor. You need a written agreement, even if it's free. If they are decorating, doing florals, you need a written agreement, even if it's free. Officiating, DJing, band, hair, makeup, photo, video, content creation, cake, day of coordination, venue, any other free service that people are offering you for your wedding day, you need a written agreement. Even if and that written agreement can be an email, right? But it needs to be clear what time they are arriving, what time they are leaving. It needs to be clear that it's free. It needs to be clear that they're going to do it, and they need to respond and say, "Yep, got it. I will be there." Right? Anything outside of that is not acceptable. You can let them know that if you don't hear back from them, you're going to hire someone, right? Because you need this covered. And you also don't want your relationship to be forever fragmented because they didn't show up on your wedding day. So this is really important. And by the way, when you book us for wedded details, we do ask you to upload your vendor agreements. If you do have someone in your family or friends who's doing something for free, guess what? Just PDF the email that you have with them explaining what they're going to do and upload that instead of the agreement. right? Because it creates clarity. Don't do things by memory. Don't do things by memory. It's because when two people have a conversation, two people have a different understanding of the conversation that just happened. And there's just not room for that back and forth. And he said, she said, after the wedding's over and it's already been ruined because like the officiant never showed up or whatever, right? So let's make sure that you are doing these things because it's going to save your wedding and it's also going to save your relationships with these people after the wedding. Because again, this is friends and family. So this is crucial, crucial, right? Now, here are some things that parents need to know before the wedding day. Number one, they need to know what time to arrive for prep. This usually applies for moms, but sometimes people have like on-site barbers for weddings, like for the grooms and the groomsmen. Like if there's any kind of prep, like hair, makeup, barbing, whatever, what time do they need to be there, right? So if mom's makeup is supposed to be taking place at 9 a.m., tell her to be there at 8:30. What time do they need to arrive and where do they need to be? Arrival time for the ceremony, which should not be the time that the ceremony starts. Because I can almost guarantee for most people they're going to be running late because they're just trying to look good and they're answering the phone and they're nervous. And what time should they arrive? Not what time does the ceremony start? Where to wait? So when they arrive, so they're not like, well, there's no one here to tell me what to go and let's like causing a firestorm that stresses out the vendors. Where should they wait until the ceremony starts? Right? Also, for those of you who have pushy parents who are like, you need to take a picture with this uncle that you haven't seen since you were two. And you also need to take a picture with this auntie that you've never met. Be clear that you're going to be following a set list for photos. You can't take a picture with everybody. It's a set list for photos, and only those people who are invited to be part of it, right? Let them know that in advance so they don't tell the whole world to come to your family photos. Let them know if they're dancing into the reception, walking into the reception, or anything else special happening. Mother-son dance, father-daughter, mother-daughter. Now you may say, well, mother-son dance is standard. My mom should just know. Or father-daughter dance is standard. My father should just know. They don't know. You need to tell them, right? Whatever you expect of them, you need to tell them, okay? Now, what your wedding party needs to know. Outfit choices. Let them know at least 4 months in advance exactly what they should be ordering. The reason is because everybody's not going to drop everything and order it right that minute. They need time, right? And also total estimated cost for everything, the room block, the outfit, hair, makeup, barbing costs. Let people know total of what they should expect to spend for your wedding as early as you can so that they understand. What I always say is that yes, it can be expensive to be a wedding party member, right? Between the dress and all that. And especially like for myself, I'm African. We got a whole lot of other stuff going on. It's like you got to buy fabric and get it custom sewn and all this stuff. You could easily spend $1,000. You could easily spend 1,500 between the hotel, the flight, the dress, the makeup, the hair. It's like it just keeps adding up. The Ubers, the all that. It's expensive, but telling someone that it's going to cost 1,500 2 months before your wedding is very different from telling someone it's going to cost 1,500 a year before the wedding or even 6 months before the wedding. It's much easier to save 200 a month towards the wedding than to all of a sudden at the last minute realize that there's this big bill. So try to estimate it and give this stuff early, which is why with us, when you book wedding details, we give you so much information early to make it easy for you to, take those next steps. Um, Address of the hotel Airbnb and the room number and when they will get the room number. If you're in a hotel, you're not gonna know the room number till you check in. But let people know this is where you need to be and what time, right? The getting ready time, right? Like, hey, we're starting hair and makeup at 7 a.m. People need to know that, right? And also let people know how to show up for you. Make sure your outfit fits. Make sure you come with a good attitude. I know this sounds crazy that you have to tell people to come with a good attitude, but you do. You do. I've learned it over the years. Their job is to have a good attitude. Their job is not to be angry at everything. Some people think that worry is a love language. It is not, right? So let people know to smile, be happy. Let people know to dance. No one else will dance if your wedding party and you don't dance. Let people know to eat when food is provided. I know this may sound very basic. Like, what do you mean? Like, I have breakfast, I buy breakfast, I provide breakfast in the morning. Why do I have to tell people to eat it? Because if they don't eat it, that's when we have the story of the groomsmen who go to Burger King when it's time to take photos. And they decide that that's when they want to eat because they didn't eat anything in the morning. So now they want to go to Burger King, even though you provided food in the morning. But they thought they were doing you a favor by not eating it. It's a very weird thing. And honestly, it's just something you have to say. Also letting people know that we don't want to have to go looking for you. Stay together, right? This is the schedule. Make sure you stay with us. And when food's provided, eat it, right? So here's the thing. You only get one shot at your wedding day. So for things that are sensitive, like pick up alcohol at the alcohol store at 10 a.m., deliver it to the venue by 1 p.m., don't give it to the flaky friend. Give it to the reliable friend, right? Written agreement from everyone. Don't leave anything left to interpretation. And also let a professional like us, Wedded Details, draft a clear schedule so that friends and family understand where they can support early, right? And we also will draft the family notes for you so everybody understands where they fit. This is such an overlooked part. Like everybody like micromanages their vendors and then their family and friends come in like a tornado on their wedding day. It's really important to make sure that you get that support. Again, you've seen this slide before. We'll help you with finding your vendors, creating your budget, giving you recommendations, building your timeline, supporting you with the weekly group wedding planning calls, with Veronica reviewing your agreements, Wendy answering your questions. And then creating your final timeline, your final emails to vendors and to your wedding party and your family, like we just talked about, and then assigning a day of coordination team. This is all what we do for you through Wedded Details and our partner coordination network. Okay. So if you book today, today is the day that the one rework credit expires, right? So what that looks like is you may come in and say, hey, this is, you fill out your intake form and you say, this is what I'm looking for a venue, and you fill it out and we give you venue recommendations. But then 3 weeks later, you realize, oh, I said I was going to have 200 people at my wedding. I had another conversation with my parents and I just realized it's going to be 400 people. And you need us to find you new venue options. Generally, we do charge a rework credit. We do charge a rework fee. But now that you would have this rework credit in your bank, you can use it at any time, right? For us to rework your schedule for you, according to the changes or you changing your mind about something, right? And that helps. Or let's say we do your intake form, we come up with an event design, we come up with vendors and all of that, and then you say, "Oh, actually, I decided that I don't want like an industrial chic wedding. I want like a garden chic wedding. I want something totally different." Cool. You use your rework credit and we will redo it for you for free because you came through wedding week and you have this bonus. All right. So make sure you go ahead and hop on it today. I would lock it in. Don't think too hard about it. Make sure you lock that in because as you've seen, these bonuses disappear every single day. You also get access to our magazine-worthy event design service that expires tomorrow. But if you lock this in today, you get the rework credit and you also get the magazine-worthy event design service as well. So you have both of those in your archive. Will stretch your budget and create an amazing design for you. All right. So now it's time for questions. So I have a couple of questions for Christina.
Let's do it.
Uh,
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Okay. So for those who are watching this and they're like, oh my gosh, I never realized how much support I need from my family and my friends and my wedding party, whatever. Do you have any general guidance about who should be in your wedding party? Right? Like, who are the people that, like, if there were like characteristics or things like that that I should look for or maybe avoid for people who are bridesmaids and groomsmen or bridesmen or groomswomen, right? Who
Mhm.
are the people? What should I be looking for in general?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't get it asked too often because it's such a personal choice for people, but I think it's something that people definitely should give a lot of thought to. One of the main things I would say that came to mind as you were going through all of this amazing information is having the flexibility. I would ask people who, one, are like, have the time and flexibility in their schedule and the point in they are in their life. I can't tell you how many times it's been like, oh, my sister-in-law like just had her baby and now I'm asking her to be at my wedding party. And then I have like a 1-year-old, or, it's maybe not an ideal time for them to be in your wedding party, having to also, have a newborn. and or flexibility and maybe they're studying in school, they just don't have a lot of time and they're busy with finals or master's program, and they're also working. So just being mindful of making sure, because it's a lot of time and commitment that people are making. So flexibility, of course, you touched a lot on reliability. And I think another thing that people don't take into account is group dynamics. So the bridesmaids have to get along with the bridesmaids, the groomsmen have to get along with the groomsmen, and then they all got to get along together because we don't want no drama, no wedding party drama, no this person fighting with this person doesn't want to stand next to this person, because it all just takes away from who it's meant to shine the light on, which is the bride and groom. So, just making sure the group dynamics and are going to be good for, from when you ask them to after the wedding. So,
Hmm.
taking into account past history, future history, potential new relationships, things like that, or old relationships, and just being realistic about those things.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think the group dynamics one definitely hits home because I think it's a group dynamic thing, but it's also a maturity thing. Like I
Hmm.
have been part of, I mean, I've been in two weddings where, listen, somebody did me so dirty, like so dirty. And I was at a wedding, it was a destination wedding. We're all like 12 hours away in this destination. We only have each other. And
Hmm.
this is my first time seeing this person since the time they did me dirty. So for me, it's a question of, do I care? What is more important in this moment? For me to let this person know that they did me dirty 5 years ago, or for me to show up for the person who's getting married who invited me here?
Right.
The crazy thing is that by the end of the weekend, me and the person who did me dirty, we were chopping it up. We were having fun because
Mhm.
I was so focused on I'm not here to fight or to rehash things, or it's not about me, it's about you. And I think that there is a maturity of
Yes.
understanding that this moment is not about you. I think that a lot of people, they may love you, but they just may not be mature enough to think of other people instead
Hmm.
of only thinking of themselves. So sometimes there may be people who don't necessarily like each other, but they'll get along. Like I was in a wedding and we kind of had a thing. Me and one of the bridesmaids kind of had a thing at the bachelorette. It wasn't bad, but it was just kind of like, excuse me, what you say? And so, but by the time the wedding happened, like she's like, oh, can you help me zip up my dress? Can we, like we got over it because we are mature people.
Right.
So
Yeah.
at a certain point, do you have mature, like the mature people should be in your wedding, right? Not perfect, but mature. Good. If you say perfect, you're not gonna have anybody. This is not going to be anybody
Yeah.
there. But the mature people who can focus on the fact that I'm here to add instead of focusing on myself. I'm here to add to your wedding, not to focus on myself. Those are the people who should be in
Yeah.
the party. Those are the people you invite to your bachelorette, right? Those are the people you invite to your bridal shower because sometimes some of the stuff goes even beyond just your wedding party. Those are the people that you say, okay, you're not in my wedding party, but come to my bachelorette because you're cool people. You know how to get along with people, right? That person who's like no new friends may not be the right person. That person who doesn't know how to talk to new people is going to make it very awkward.
Yeah. And usually you know who that person is, and you can
Right.
tell very early on
Mhm.
if they're gonna fit that bill or not. And I've had some brides like know that like, oh, I know this person, blah blah blah, but I was in her wedding, so I wanna, I feel like I have to have her in my wedding, but you don't. You don't.
Mm-mm. You don't, because you have to be accountable for your choices, right?
Hmm.
And you don't want to look back and be like, the only reason I had drama at my wedding was because I had this person in my wedding. If this person wasn't there, it would have been beautiful and I would have had a great experience, right? And it's tough, but you just have to be honest about that. Yeah, I love that. This was a good conversation. This is
Hmm.
like therapy, but like everybody needs to hear that. All right, when it comes to volunteers, people who do whatever, they're picking up the seating chart and dropping it off, or they are bringing all your stuff to the venue for you, or they are like dropping off alcohol and drinks, or they're, I don't know, whatever other volunteers for your wedding. Do you have any like guidance of like just thoughts about what makes a good wedding volunteer?
Yeah, so I think you talked about two different types of volunteers, like people that help before the wedding or like a week before or more, like in the planning
Hmm.
process, and then people help on the day of the wedding. So I think overall, in general, if people are volunteering in any role, they should definitely be people with your best interest. And I know that sounds like something that, well, obviously, but it's not because there's a lot of times some people have very strong opinions and they will do what they think is best or, have a lot of strong opinions to try to influence your opinion. But, it's your wedding day. So you really don't want to have to be the one to deal with that in the pre or on the day of, especially. But so people with your best interest that can put their own, like, in their own likes and dislikes and opinions and things aside and
Hmm.
just show up for you in the capacity that you need.
Hmm.
And then I think for people on the actual wedding day, definitely, um, besides you made a great point of like no parents, no wedding party members, because they got a lot going on. Also anybody who is in pre-ceremony pictures, because there are a lot of our cultural weddings. Sometimes you have a lot of pre-pictures with like some people who are in the processional that don't fit that role, but anybody in the processional for the ceremony or anybody you have coming before to take photos with you, like grandma, grandpa, whoever, um, flower girls, etc. Like they should not be going out to do anything besides showing up at the time you told them to show up for pictures. And then also, people that are timely. I mean, we all know the ones that aren't, gonna show up on time. They can't show up, to dinner reservation on time. So you don't want them to have to miss anything in your wedding because at the end of the day, like they're there to celebrate with you. So you don't want to take away from having them there to do all those things. And I think lastly is people who are self-sufficient because we all have that like the aunt that just asks too many questions and that just as one simple task or one simple thing like bring the cake to the so and so birthday and they're like but what kind and what flavor and what time with this and where should I get it and you don't want to have to deal with that on the wedding day or burden someone else with having to deal with that and them ask you a million and one questions. It should be someone that you can easily just say bring ice 20 bags and they're like done. They're not going to ask you 10 follow-up questions. So just make it easy on yourself.
Yeah. No, I love that. So some things to avoid would be the person who's the person who is always running late is the person to avoid because
Yes.
if they are always running late and you send them to do a task and then they need to show up for the wedding, they're gonna miss your ceremony, right?
Hmm.
So I love that. Avoid wedding party members and also avoid people who are in family photos, particularly if those family photos take place even before the ceremony, right? Love
Right.
that. Really great. People who are strong, like you said, people who are self-sufficient, who don't ask a bajillion questions, who are just like, you know what, I'll figure it out and I'll be there. Excellent. And people who are reliable. I love that. And people who have your best interests at heart. Because again, that's
Yes.
another thing. I remember one of the very first weddings I ever planned. Um, Now the wedding was gorgeous. But you know how it is. When you are setting up an event, the room looks like chaos pretty much until it's set up. And during the setup process, this person chose to have volunteers set up the decor. The person's aunt was a decorator but lived out of town and was like, "Oh, just give me some volunteers to help me set up." And the volunteers were just complaining. "Oh, I don't understand why they did this instead of getting these kind of chairs and did this and did that." And they were bad mouthing stuff. And a lot of the stuff was even getting back to the bride before it was even set up. But no one had anything to say when it was done because the designers but they just didn't understand the vision up front and they were stressing everybody out, talking bad about it, right? So at a certain point, just go. I have been in weddings where I was like, I don't even like this dress that I'm about to wear. But I don't say anything because it's not my wedding.
Yeah.
Like, I will buy the dress with my money and wear it and smile and be happy and
Yeah.
dance and whatever. And then maybe after the wedding, I may not wear it again, but I'm going to show up for you in the way, like, I'm going to show up for your wedding and I'm not going to put that on you. And I think that's really big. Like, for us at Wedded Details, we care a lot about logistics and your wedding starting and ending on time, but we also care about how you feel. Because what's the point of having a wedding that starts and ends on time, but you're miserable the whole time? And so a lot of our advice and our guidance and a lot of what we do is to protect how you feel and to help you to like so that you can just be in the moment, right? And so yeah, so that was really, really good advice. Any final words about family and friends that you want to share? Because this was really good.
No, I think we got it a lot covered.
Yeah, and if you're like, oh man, like I really wish, I really want to, yeah, like if you're just like, man, like this is a lot to think about. I don't even know how to draft these emails. I don't know how to communicate. That's why you need wedded details. Whether you book our final detail service or our full planning service, we help you, right? With the communication to your wedding party, to your family and friends, volunteers, all that. We help you think through all the logistics of things to think through. So it's not just on you. We'll pretty much just tell you what to do and you just copy paste and get it done, right? So we're excited about that. And yeah, that's it. That's it. So this was a lot. Think through, if you haven't picked your wedding party, think through some of the things we told you about as you're refining your
Mhm.
wedding party. If you already picked them, we're not giving you license to go and like uninvite people to your wedding party. That's probably
No
may
breakup letters.
yeah, not gonna go well. But just make sure you prepare people as much as possible and also be prepared to maybe move on with people who are not prepared. Like the story I told you earlier about the bridesmaid who missed a whole bunch of pictures. The bride was
Hmm.
like, that's fine, not my problem. Like, and we moved on, and when the bridesmaid came back, we all moved on, right? Like, don't let people hijack your day and hijack your happiness. And either way, it'll be all good. All right. All right, so guys, tomorrow's the last day. Tomorrow we'll be starting, for those of you watching live, we'll be starting at a different time. We start at 12 p.m. because it's Friday, and who wants to be on Zoom at 7 p.m. on a Friday? So we'll be doing it at 7 p.m. and the at 12 p.m. and the replay will be available soon. For those of you guys who are watching on demand, you will get it very quickly, same time you get every day. All right. So excited you guys are joining us, and we cannot wait to welcome y'all to the Wedding Details family. Like, let me tell you, life is better when you hire us to plan your wedding. All right. This is the wisdom that's going into your wedding and so much more. So we can't wait to get started. Enjoy your night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the finale.
Bye.